everyone, welcome to another video. Remember, if you love film, gaming, or television content, please consider clicking that subscribe button because today I want to talk about the incredible announcement and trailer for Death Stranding 2. So, let's get into it. So firstly, before I go into my thoughts on the first game, I'm just letting you know right now that this will go into full spoilers for the first Death Stranding. Now, I know that this game is fairly divisive because of its gameplay mechanics, but for me, Death Stranding is a masterful game that is unlike anything we have ever seen before. The way it presents its story is just so unique, and nothing plays quite like it. This was my game of the year for 2019, and is still one that I consistently think about because so much of it is just purely unique, which I give a lot of praise to Hideo Kojima for. I have only briefly played some of his other games like Metal Gear Solid 4 and 5, and I have put about 100 hours into Death Stranding, and I think he is the closest thing that video game direction has ever gotten to having an auteur. The way he directs his games is unlike anything I have ever seen or will ever see. After Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart got announced, the one game I was dying the most to see an announcement from was Death Stranding 2, especially in the last year, seeing as Norman Reedus basically spilled the beans on this being made, and ever since that announcement, I have been anticipating the moment that they're going to unveil that trailer at pretty much every single game show that has come up in the past year. I kept getting let down, and finally at the Game Awards, it was the last hope of seeing it announced this year because Jeff Keighley and Hideo Kojima are really good friends, and thankfully it delivered an extremely interesting trailer that just got me so excited for this game, more so compared to before because I did not think that Kojima could create anything weirder than the first Death Stranding, but the sequel could just be on a whole new level. The first thing that is instantly noticeable is that Léa Seydoux' Fragile seems to be raising Louise with Sam Porter Bridges. Louise seems to be a whole lot older, and there are going to be so many questions about how this baby is going to grow up. It was a BB, and perhaps a really powerful one, seeing as she is maybe the first one to ever get taken out of the pod and be raised like a normal kid. We'll talk a little more about Louise as we get further into the video because there are some very interesting things about this character that I am very excited for Kojima to explore in his very weird ways. We then see people dressed in red holding a coffin, and they have a statue of Amelie, the extinction entity. I really think the person in the coffin is Higgs, played by the legendary Troy Baker, because he looks at her like a god and believes that she is the key to uniting America. He is a fanatic, and the people that work for him would be conditioned to think that way as well. This cult-like group dressed in red are taking this body to the desert to some really strange sci-fi looking structure, and I think that is the key to how Higgs is going to be back in this game. I believe that this whole sequence will be how Higgs comes back to life after he was murdered on the beach. According to Higgs, whoever dies on the beach, even if they are a repatriate, they can't come back. So I think for Higgs to come back from the beach after dying, he is going to become more twisted than ever before because it would have been something incredibly unnatural to bring him back. After this, we vaguely see what looks like mules chasing after Fragile and Louise, and eventually she gets shot and it looks like Louise dies as well as Fragile. There is someone in a hood who is also chasing after them, and they also look similar to Higgs, but I think it may be someone else. When the chase scene starts, we do hear a line from Higgs saying,
"Baby, don't worry, it's okay. I'll always be with you."
So I think Higgs really wants to take Louise for himself. In the first Death Stranding, he never actually had a real BB. He had a doll that was created by Amelie, and that was responsible for him being a repatriate. So I think him trying to find a really powerful one like Louise would make him stronger than ever. I also think the line has a double meaning to it because this character has a history with Fragile because they worked together for a very long time. Fragile was the one who we assume has killed him, but it was off screen, so you never know. And I think that this line just means that he is still haunting her even after his death. After this sequence, we get a real mindfuck. We see Louise reappear in her BB container, and the wings that she was wearing start flapping almost as if they are attached to her. The biggest thing that this told me was that I'm almost certain that Louise herself is a repatriate, and I'm sure she will be a stronger repatriate than Sam. In terms of the wings, I really don't know what to make of that. It could be a design choice, and this is a Kojima game, so who knows where this is going to go. I think if she actually ends up developing wings because she is not a normal baby, would be pretty crazy. I think a nice thing that was confirmed in the trailer, it was kind of a no-brainer really, but Sam Porter Bridges is back and it is Norman Reedus reprising his role as this really interesting character. I actually think that his performance in the first Death Stranding was a career high for him, and I think that Death Stranding wouldn't be as good as it is without him. He is sporting a different look as he seems a bit older, and I think I have to credit that to the final scene in the first Death Stranding. He is standing outside in the time fall with Louise. Now, I know the normal rainbow, instead of the upside down one, symbolizes that the Death Stranding is over. That's why I don't think he just shriveled up and died. However, there may be still traces of it to a point where it subtly ages him. The obvious thing that you can see in this trailer is that it seems like Sam and Fragile are together now. Fragile tells Sam that it is time to start another journey, and because of the way a lot of these sequels in games have been going recently, especially with these ones with ambitious stories, they have been using a secondary character to play as. I do think it's not out of the question for Fragile to be playable. If that's true, I think that would be amazing, especially if she has her teleporting abilities. The trailer also doesn't tell you if it's going to be a similar gameplay loop or not. Once again, with Kojima, it is very hard to tell, but I do think it will be more or less similar to the first. That honestly bothers a whole lot more people than it does me because I actually really enjoyed the gameplay loop. As I've said, I called it a masterpiece, which means I love all aspects of this game, not just the story. I loved how the gameplay just meshes with that story so well. By the time you walk across the US, in that game, it feels like it because you go so far and parts of the journey are so hard. But that's what this game is. The journey was never easy to reconnect America, and both Sam and the player have to go through those trials and tribulations together. And that's what makes the game so special. I always thought that anyone who just wrote the game off because they were watching a live stream of someone ripping into the game, because that was the fun thing to do at the time, was not the best way to experience Death Stranding at all. That even includes the streamer as well. It's not the type of game where you can just turn your brain off and have a laugh while playing it. I know I'm coming off so pretentious right now, but I think when you engage with this game properly and take that time to give the game your full attention, it is gripping in a way that not a lot of games are. It does something incredibly unique, and that's why the first is just so incredible. Anyway, back to the trailer. Who is Drawbridge? We see that logo appear, and it is on the giant ship when Fragile and Sam are talking to each other. Drawbridge seems to be the company that Sam and Fragile will make together, because the tagline of Drawbridge is both rope and stick, to protect and connect together for tomorrow. This is similar to the opening quote of the first game, which leads me to think that this is something that Sam and Fragile have started together. I think though what everyone is questioning is just who the hell is this guy? I think seeing as Higgs is constantly present and Troy Baker is the one singing BB's theme, this has to be him. This also coincides with the theory of the cult people reviving him. I think he is wearing the mask to hide the bullet hole in his head because Fragile shot him in the first. The guitar is just a cool ass Kojima thing. I think it looks like it connects to the drone mule things in the background, and that's his way of controlling them. The trailer, when reaching its finale, has the tagline that says, "Should we have connected?" Like everything in this trailer, it seems purposeful to the greater story at large, which is that everything can be weaponized. The chiral network is generally seen as a good thing that makes life so much easier for everyone as they're able to connect with each other once again. Higgs, I think, will be using that to his advantage, and it might be what he uses with the guitar that makes him control things. It will make our protagonist question everything they did in the first game, and I'm interested in seeing the overall effect this has on the world of Death Stranding. One last post-trailer scene shows BB's form change to that of an octopus, which I am sure has everyone confused, including myself. My best guess is that it's just another wacky nightmare sequence. The first game had a few of them, like this one for example. So I think the octopus could be a similar thing, as that imagery is present in the trailer. On the ship, a picture of an octopus is on there. It's hard to tell what it represents yet because we need to play the whole game first to find that out. But I think Death Stranding 2 will have so much more to it, and I cannot wait to see what that is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me in the comments below what your thoughts are towards Death Stranding and this trailer. For a while, Hogwarts Legacy has been my most anticipated game because I adore the world of Harry Potter and that game looks crazy. But now I think it might be Death Stranding too. I'm just so excited to see all the weird shit Kojima is going to put into this, and if he can find something that further innovates more than what the first did, I'm going to be blown away. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.